Oh, it's fun talking shit.
Yeah, it's the best.
Welcome to Jim and Sam. We're back live. We took a few days off. People get mad and they say, you replays, but it's like it's the summer. We're taking a couple days here and there just to, have some kind of summer vacation.
I'm going to start taking more days because it makes me feel wanted.
It makes me feel wanted too, or missed.
Yeah, it makes me feel missed. Although I did like that somebody, because then they start fighting with each other on Twitter. The listeners start fighting with each other on Twitter. You guys, I should say, since we're talking to you at home. Mm-hmm. You guys start fighting with each other on Twitter, and then there's this other round of people that come forward and start going like they were calling the people who were, some of the listeners were calling the listeners who complained about us not being here like codependent, clingy girlfriends.
Well, they're not wrong. I mean, we're going to take a little time here and there. It's part of, it's part of the summer. You take time off.
It is funny, though, just the way radio's worked out, especially here at Sirius, that like...
Sirius XM,
I'm sorry, let's get the branding right. That the minute, you take one day off, and I don't know if this happens for every show or just like talk shows like ours or whatever, but I find that you take one day off, and it's like, what are you guys on the fucking Stern schedule? What is this?
It's great. Howard works a great schedule, Monday through Wednesday. He's got the schedule everyone would want.
Monday through Wednesday with like 15 weeks of vacation or something.
Yeah.
In the summer.
Yeah. He's a man of leisure.
He is. But, and he's earned it, by the way.
Hey, look, if he can get away with it, good for him. I don't blame him. Howard Stern. Sorry. I heard somebody say that recently. Howard Stern. Howard Stern. Yeah, good. Well done. But yeah, we have to, I guess we should address, we might as well just start and get it out of the way. People have been barraging me. I wasn't on Twitter that much for the last few days. I was away and I came back and Sam and I had a lovely dinner.
Yes, we did. And dessert.
We went out for like a couple of in love mo's. We went out for fucking to Morton's and we went off for a little froyo.
I thought it was really funny because we sat down at Morton's and the table in front of us were fans of the show.
Yes,
and I was like, in my head, I was like, that must be so exciting. You're like, see, I told you they were friends. They hang out and they get dinner together. Like it must be so funny. I don't know if it's funny or weird or somewhat gay to see if you're a fan of a radio show. While you're out to see them both together, and there was nobody with us. It was just me and Jim.
Yeah.
So it almost like to the guys that were sitting at the table in front of us, it's just that we do the show in the morning, and then we just spend our lives together.
Yeah, we got them malted with 2 straws. It was really gay. But yeah, I wondered that too. What they say? They say Sammy Brand muffins, or they said something.
They go. One guy says Sammy Brand muffins, and I don't even think they had seen you yet. And they go, the guy just turns around and he goes, let him in. It's like, hi, guys. And then they saw you and then they came over and said hi.
They were very nice.
Very nice, yeah.
But yeah, it must be weird to see the 2 hosts of the show out.
Yeah, and just socializing, gallivanting.
Enjoying each other's company.
Exactly. Well said, Troy. A couple of men enjoying each other's company.
Giggling, laughing. We were in a booth and you could make the move to when you're in a booth to take each side so that the middle is clear. So you're on opposite ends of the table. But Jim and I, we end up, usually when we do this, because it's not the first time we've shared a booth.
Certainly won't be the last either.
No, we make an L formation. So one of us sits in the middle and one of us sits on the end. So we are closer than really we need be.
But not side by side. Like the Morton's booth is great because you sit side by side with a girl, and then before the appetizers are there, you're 3 fingers deep. You're under the table, no one can see anything.
Right? No. We do the L formation.
Yeah.
So it's still a hetero deal.
Sure,
but it's closer than it needs to be. A lot of the excess booth space is on the other side of both of us, not in between us. Which I think, if anything, shows the world how secure we are with our relationship.
It's not like too close or too weird, but we look like a couple of men willing to explore.
Like, are we giving each other hand jobs under the table? No. Are the feet touching? Very possibly. Very possibly.
Possibly there's a little shin rubbing.
That's right.
But it was fun. It was fun. Sam was fun to hang out with. So we just went out and ate and yapped.
Yeah. Giggled.
Yeah, giggled a little and went for some froyo.
That's right. I got regular ice cream.
It's funny. I didn't. I mixed and matched. I had some of the Tasty Delight, by the way, is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I thought, like, Jim always knows. This is Jim, it used to be he was notorious. Like, when I first started listening to you on the radio, right, it was Jim knows where to go if you want to find people to piss in your mouth. Jim knows where to go if you want to find this prostitute.
I'm holding up my cell phone, by the way. It's a place for both.
like all of this. Now that Jim and I hang out, it's Jim knows where to go to get the best froyo in town, whatever coast we're on. And so when we go on the West Coast, Jim loves his gay froyo, and I call it gay froyo because it's in the gay area. It's where all the gay guys go to get frozen yogurt.
Well, hold on, it's not now.
I mean,
that's not a gay area.
In the West Coast? I'm talking about in LA.
Oh, yes, on Santa Monica. I'll tell you what it's called, the Yogurt Stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let me tell you something.
You know how many times I've grabbed the pump and then realized, that's just the man who works here?
Yeah. And then your yogurts come out.
Well, I don't eat it, though. Just give it to Jonathan.
He eats
the Yogurt Stop on Santa Monica is in my top 3 favorite places on earth.
So I thought in New York we would go to some fancy local froyo spot. But Tasty Delight's like a chain, isn't it?
Yeah. It's fucking phenomenal. 16 handles can eat my dick.
Whoa.
Tasty Delight is the best.
Yeah, we walked right by. I'll tell you this. Jim doesn't mess around when it comes to his,
I don't play games.
His frozen yogurt. I don't want to say froyo too many times on the show. There needs to be a quota.
People will hate it.
But when it comes to frozen yogurt, Jim doesn't mess around. We walked right by. This is the wild life that we lead when we're not on the air. We walked right by a 16 handles to go into a Tasty Delight. I mean, he's serious.
Yeah. So I am, but I stayed off Twitter a lot. I tweeted maybe a couple of times. I didn't even post on Instagram that much. I go through weird phases now with social media. Like I don't think it's evil or bad. I like it, but it's like sometimes I'm like, ugh, I just have nothing to say.
Yeah, I turned my alerts on for the first time on Twitter so that I get like pop-ups on my phone if somebody that I follow tweets at me or somebody verified tweets at me or something that they're like, this is. But other than that. I've been looking at the app mentions less, unless like I send something and I want to interact with it or something. But for the most part, I look at the app mentions way less.
Right. Yeah. So I got, I guess on Sunday, I noticed a couple of tweets, people asking us to address this situation where Opie was talking about our show, or he thinks that I addressed it on Twitter, the fact that he thinks that we're upset. It's just I don't know what to say about it.
Well, what did he say?
Something about like I've moved on, but those guys are obsessed with me. Just like me and Ann are obsessed with him. It's fun to make fun of you. You're fun to make fun of, and people are like, why don't you just unload on him? Because he hasn't given me a reason to unload. I'm not afraid to unload on him. It's more fun to make fun of him.
Right.
To be honest with you. And as far as pushing this, he thinks I'm pushing this narrative that his podcast sucked. I never said his podcast sucked. I actually said, you fucking dumb autistic, if you'd pay attention. Oop. I actually said that the radio show you were doing in the afternoon was funny. And I thought you did good on it. And it was like you sounded happy and you sounded comfortable. The podcast, well, if you want to set up a mic in the middle of a table and have 8 guys yelling at each other and hope that people can pick it up, that's your business.
You don't think anybody ever said the podcast sucked?
I didn't say it wasn't funny. Yeah. I like the guys that are on it.
Also, it's weird because it felt like this whole thing started.
Fucking paranoid idiot. Shut up.
It felt like, and I'm sure that a lot of this has to do with, old school radio realizing that if you start a radio beef, it's going to get eyes and ears on whatever.
I encourage people, run to his podcast and enjoy.
Right.
I'm not one of these people. How to listen to it? There's enough clips with 3 likes. I mean, I get it. Believe me, social media is grabbing it and running with it.
It seemed like it started with Voss coming in and saying, I don't even remember. He barely said anything. He said that Opie said that he sucked on the radio. And it was like this sort of offhanded thing. It was 2 minutes of conversation, but it seemed like it was direct response to something that Opie had said about Voss somewhere. I didn't really know if he said it on a podcast or on Twitter or whatever. But it was a response to something that was said. And then it started, like the narrative shifted into, Opie's name is just coming up out of nowhere.
So he said Voss wasn't funny on the radio?
That's what Voss said that he said.
Okay, well,
when he was in here on Wednesday or
I hope
Tuesday
that's not true. Because Voss has said more funny things in a month than Opie said in his entire career. You're going to say Voss isn't funny on the radio?
Or
you out of your fucking mind? Hard to do radio with? Stop.
Yeah.
Just fucking stop it. Oh, I know what he said. He said that Ant's a dry drunk. I'm a dry drunk and Ant's an alcoholic. Fair point.
Okay, so you won't argue
no,
that.
I'm not going to argue. Man is an alcoholic, and I wasn't many times a dry drunk. I can't argue that.
It seemed like that was the big, like, oh, how's Jimmy going to respond to being called a dry drunk?
It's a fair point. There's times I came in, I was a complete cunt. But the bottom line is this. I have to know that there's times I was cunty. I'm not fucking a victim. Mm-hmm. I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm not a delusional narcissist who thinks he's a victim. At times I was very difficult. But it's funny that I'm really still close with Anthony and we still have fun together. I'm still good friends with Troy. I'm still good friends with Sam. I'm still good friends with Travis. I still get along with Nathaniel when I see him. I'm still good friends with Club Soda Kenny. What other people? I'm still good friends with E-Rock. I still talk to E-Rock. All people.
What does he say? Like, hey.
Call me. All people who are also still friends with Anthony. So all of us are still friends. The only one that we're not friends with and who are not friends is him. Oh, Voss, I forgot to mention. I'm still good friends with Voss.
You are still friends
I'm still good friends with Bobby Kelly. I'm not saying Bobby hates him, but I don't think Bobby enjoys him. Let's be honest. All of us are still friends. All of us still get along, are still comfortable with each other. He's the one who doesn't. So you can paint it like it's everybody out to get you. If you're saying to yourself, why is it always me? Well, then you should really question that for real. Why is it always you? Why is it? Do you think we all talked it over? Do you ever think, instead of just giving the shallow, I've looked at my shit, do you ever just think there is something fundamentally wrong with you that almost everyone who's interacted with, the Stangles, for Christ's sake?
No, there's a new world order. There's a conspiracy of all the radio people. They're coming against me.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, does it ever occur to you as a person that there is something fundamentally wrong with the way you interact with people, why nobody likes you? What do you think, that people just email each other and go, let's not like them today? It's a natural reaction.
Let's create a narrative. Let's all get to... Now, what was the comment? Because that was the other thing that I think you wanted to address, was he said something along the lines of reinventing the show and sticking to the formula. Was he saying that Anthony's show that he does on Compound was the same O&A?
I think he was saying that you and I had an opportunity. First of all, we had an opportunity to do something new and fresh, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to misquote him. Okay. We have an opportunity to do something new and fresh, and we're doing the same old thing. First of all, you still use the theme song. And second of all, the only Opie and Anthony tweets clips I ever tweet are Anthony.
I do think twit is the past of tweet.
Yes, it is also appropriate when I'm talking about him. When Anthony makes Jimmy laugh. Those clips I will retweet. But I'm not the one on the YouTube channel who is obsessively retweeting shit from the old days. It's not what I do. I'm not always trying to grab the Opie and Anthony clips and sending them out. Again, an Anthony makes me laugh clip once in a while, a Patrice clip, sure. I'm not the one still riding that wave. As far as, hey, look at this clip from 6 years ago. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And as far as our show is concerned, the only clip we use that is similar to the old days is the car crash. Everything else is a new clip. Every clip we have in the opening is from this show.
Do you want the exact tweet?
Yes, please.
They had a great opportunity to develop a brand new show, but instead relied on the now old O&A formula with the same tired, played-out guests. It comes down to a lack of experience and laziness. To do radio correctly takes a lot of work.
Is the autism behind that statement amazing? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Travis. Do you like him?
I have not spoken to him. The last time I saw him, and this will tell you everything you need to know, was when he was still working here. And it was in the afternoon, and I was coming back here to do something, and we ended up being on the same subway. We were in the same car, and we noticed each other, and I said hey, and he said hey when we got out of the subway, and I went to walk up to him, and he turned around and kept walking.
Yeah, he's again just a fucking baby boy.
Well, he has this tendency of deciding people are enemies. Like, I don't think people really...
I guess I was just an asshole.
Yeah, and it's everyone, but I get it.
I don't know if...
Oh, I mentioned Club Soda Kenny, yeah.
I don't know if it was spoken with to you guys, or if he was worried that you guys were still talking to me. But I know that when I was doing... Before we started doing a show together, Jim, like when I was doing my show at night, he already decided that I was working against him somehow.
Oh, and there's another tweet. Anyone else find it sad that two shows had to rely on me again? Because they're too lazy to prepare for a show. Well, what else are we going to rely on you for? The laughs? No.
It also, the show prep thing I thought was funny, too.
Two shows obsess about me. Meanwhile, this fucking douche has been so obsessed with Howard. Do you know how embarrassing that shit was? Howard, shut up. I was in the hall when I met Howard. He sat at a table and kept his fucking face down at the table like a 6-year-old scared that fucking the boss had walked in. I walked up to Howard. I'm like, hey, my name is Jim. He goes, I know who you are, man. He was really nice. And Ope sat on the fucking 2 seats away, like in the lobby, just kind of staring down, not one. So stop it. Stop talking about people being obsessed. We worked with you for a long time. None of us like you. I don't hate him, and people are like, why don't you just unload on him? Because I don't hate the guy. Like, I don't wish him bad. He started me in radio. Do you know, by the way, what a fucking prick you have to be to have changed my life and to have me not like you?
You're a pretty loyal guy.
I'm a fiercely loyal fucking dude.
Yeah.
I would never badmouth. If Dice fucked my mother, I'd badmouth her before I badmouth him.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't have any ill will, and I find it difficult to even, like, I don't see a scenario where I would ever unload, quote unquote, because I feel the same way. Like, I wouldn't.
I see a scenario. Yeah. If you unloaded on me, I would absolutely do it.
Well, I also, you and Anthony come from very different perspectives. You had to sit in a very different seat, right, than I did. And while I have my own issues, like he did, I feel the same way. You got me started here.
Sure.
You know, I don't think that you or I would have, you know, squandered in obscurity had it not been. We would have found a way, but
it wouldn't have been radio for me, and it got me my fan base.
Right.
But I could not have been a more fucking, no one has talked more about the Opie and Anthony show and what it did for them than I have.
Yeah.
No one has spoken nicer about Opie in interviews over the years than I have. Like when I'm going to promote a special and he's got the whole fucking cake stomp thing, and I got to go on podcast and just be like, look, this is what happened, and I'm giving his narrative, and this is why he did it. Ugh.
Doesn't count, though.
It's just delusional.
Yeah.
And as far as you trying to reinvent the wheel, what do you, the same guests? You're on with Vic Henley and Sherrod, both guys who I brought to you. The fuck are you talking about? And again, I love those guys. And I like Carl. I have no issue with those guys. And I have nothing wrong. You should be bringing Sherrod and Vic on. Those guys are funny dudes. Fine.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody associated with the show is.
And you're the one who lost your morning slot because you took off in August. That's why you lost the morning slot, because you took off in August. So don't talk about being lazy. You wanted to sit on the fucking dumb beach. Well, we came in and did shows.
Yeah.
Oops.
There's also, I mean, when you talk about being too lazy to prepare, there's only 2 people that ever did show prep for the Opie.
Thank you, buddy.
Show. Well, they both work here.
I mean, yeah, let him finish the sentence.
Oh, sorry. I thought he was going to point me out.
Right, no, there's only 2 people that ever did any sort of preparation for Opie and Anthony for the whole show. And they both still work here. Jim, unfortunately, you are not one of them.
I'm not on that list.
No, the list would be Travis Teft, Sam Roberts.
Oh, but you're lazy. You just said you were lazy. You don't do show prep.
Yeah, well, the list would conclude at the end of.
But he does show prep. Like when an interview person would come in, he'd go, "You got this? I don't know who this is." That's good. Good. Ray Liotta said to him, "Are you sick?" Because he didn't know what to say to Ray Liotta. Right, but we're lazy. I was doing stand up and fucking going to bed at 12, getting up at 5, or coming in on no sleep, and then fucking going on the road. But I'm lazy. Shut the fuck up.
I would like to think that most people see through this, you know what I mean, and see it for what it is. But
it's like it's irritating, and then the old standby of, oh, they gotta talk about. But it's like, just shut. How about a funny response? How about, I enjoy making fun of him. I think it's more fun to do, and
but it also
believe
makes
me,
you laugh.
It truly makes me laugh. And the bottom line is, Chip is on his side. Chip is not on my side.
Right.
Chip is on his side.
Right.
But by the way, if you put up clips of your show and it gets 6 likes on social media, and Chip Chipperson gets 400 making fun of you, you really need to reevaluate what you're doing.
Chip is crushing, dude.
That's the truth.
Chip is crushing.
So, let's just see if there's anyone.
Yeah, if you want.
We can. I don't want to obsess over this all day, but if there's anything we didn't address.
Yeah, I feel like it's been addressed, but I'm not.
I can't think of anything.
I'm also not trying to slow you down in any way, shape, or form.
No, I think that was it. It was just I saw a couple of tweets. And I did see the one clip. I didn't want to misquote it, so I'm glad you brought that up. No, we don't have to talk about it. But yeah, people, get the numbers up. Go look at his podcast. Maybe it's great. I've heard clips of it. The words I could make out were fine.
What do you mean the words?
It's just hard to hear with the clinking of silverware. Sorry, we're using the same old guests. We're trying to bring stupid comedians like Rich Voss and Mark Normand on, while you got fucking, hey, this is Jack. He's a waiter here who had a DUI. All right, cool. Let's talk to him for 2 hours.
Using the same old technology of microphones in a studio.
Yeah, I know. What are we, stupid? We're lazy. We're lazy because we don't want to put one mic on a table and order a craft beer. Lazy us.
I don't understand why you would call all these comedians tired.
I'll tell you why.
He's the funniest people I've ever met.
Here's why. Because he's stupid.
Oh.
Rich, Bob, Colin, Bill. I mean,
he's stupid. That's why. He's a stupid motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, we also don't have to. There's no reason to bring in.
Just dumb.
Here's what we're doing on Jim and Sam.
Shut the fuck up. Same tired guests. Funniest guys are the comics on this show. There's nothing better than the comics bashing. When Anthony was here, everybody bashing each other, and then somebody not feeling like they were included. All right, time to go to break. Yeah, well done. I think timing.
The Montreal shows are just the perfect example of what we're doing, which is we're not throwing anybody out. We're bringing all the hilarious people that have been doing shows on this channel and what this channel was for years, also bringing new people in, but evolving it. Evolving doesn't mean throwing out the old formula because you're insecure and starting something fresh and using that kind of as an excuse. It's taking all the good stuff and then adding more good stuff.
Well, no, it's starting a new formula because you couldn't get hired anywhere. So you got to do a podcast. And again, that's not even a knock on. That's just the business is the business. And hey, I'm lazy. You took 9 months to start a podcast.
Yeah.
9 months to start a pod. Chip did it in 2 weeks.
Chip is a workhorse, though. And this is what people don't understand about Chip. He's not the most intelligent guy in the world. He's not the funniest guy in the world. But Chip Chipperson is a goddamn workhorse, okay? People need to give that respect. What Chip lacks in any sort of awareness, intelligence, broadcasting ability, he makes up for
in work ethic.
In pure work ethic. And I'm from the same school of thought. Am I Mr. Excitement? Am I Mr. Hilarity?
Yes.
No, I was going with the work ethic.
Sorry. Misread.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. We're still working on our chemistry, but we'll get there. All right. Should we move on?
Someone said Jim blames you for everything. Somebody, I think, Opie fan trolls Opie. I'm like, that couldn't be a real person.
Somebody tweet, Jim is talking more shit about you once again. He blames you for everything. That's true. He blames you for everything.
It's all his fault. Yes, terrible. All his fault.
By the way, what's to blame? Everybody's doing well.
I'm fine.
You don't think that guy's real?
No, I don't. I don't think he's real. But
you think he thinks he's real?
I hope so.
See,
and by the sorry, Sam, one thing I like is when your narcissism is put you in this position and you're still saying, "Why me?" I don't mind that. That doesn't make me angry. A part of me is like, you know what? Good. You just keep wondering why it's you.
In my professional life, there's been one ultimate and true betrayal that I regret because it's not in my nature. I'm a loyal person, I'm a good person, and I'm a man of my word. There's been one ultimate and true betrayal that if I could take back, I would.
What's that?
And that is to Scorch.
Yes.
My mentor.
You would.
The person who, as Sexy Disco Inferno on Twitter pointed out, Sam owes everything he knows and has to Scorch. This is true. And I would, as we're talking about, radio and what we've done in the past, I would like to take this moment to apologize for my misgivings, for my comments in the past, for the things that I did to betray Scorch. I think it's about time that I owned up to it and apologized for that in my, as I look back at my professional life, who have you wronged and what would you have done differently?
Yeah.
Who helped me? What regrets do you have? That would be the number one. I apologize to Scorch.
Fair enough.
And I hope at some point, I don't blame him if he never forgives me, but I do hope at some point
he does.
He finds it in his heart to forgive me because he's the master.
Fair enough.
You know,
that's a good apology.
That I regret.
But you have to, it's funny when you look at the case evidence around you. You're right. I was a dry drunk at times. Anthony's an alcoholic. Why do we still love doing radio together? Like, why is he still my friend? And as far as I'll say it one more time, I fought for him. I don't know what you said to Greenstein, but I know that in the studio, I brought him up all the time off the air and got zero back. Fans can believe what they want. Believe what you want.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I would say we got to get him in, at least have him come in or call in or whatever. Zero back. So, if there's anything else, you guys can let us know. I did not see Michael. Let's just go to Michael in Wisconsin.
All right.
Because I did not see what you're asking.
What's up, bud? Michael in Wisconsin.
Sammy, Brian, and Jimmy.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I can't believe you guys haven't seen Ant's rant. Opie had a text out that said he defies anybody to find a funnier podcast.
Oh, no.
I swear to God, I watched it Sunday on YouTube, man. I laughed my balls off. I couldn't believe it.
He didn't really say that. He didn't say I defy you to find. Oh, what is a funnier? What was the tweet about that? I defy you to find a funnier podcast.
Opie's tweet. I don't know.
Something about something that's as consistently funny. Anthony took him up on a challenge.
Did Anthony list things that were consistently funnier?
Yes, he did.
Was it more than two things?
Yes, and it's things that you generally wouldn't consider to be funny.
Like what? Name one.
Baby death.
Oh, that's not funny at all, man.
He said those were funny.
You'd probably enjoy it.
I didn't hear it.
That's not funny.
Did you mention 9/11?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay,
if he didn't, I would have.
That was one of the saddest days in our history.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Oh, that's right. The big talk with Bichetti. I'm not even hearing it. I'm just watching Ann's face, and I can see that he's talking about the big thing with Bichetti. He almost does the fist thing.
He does.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
But look, I'll be very truthful with you. I truly don't hate the guy. But for you to change my life and for me to have animosity to you, you really have to be a prick. You really have to be a prick. Because even when Dice was having that problem with O&A, Dice never badmouthed me. And I was glad he didn't because I loved him. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to ever have bad blood with Andrew. He changed me. He did so much.
Do you think everybody associated with that show has come to terms with the fact yet that you guys, us guys, I guess, you three more than anybody else, but I think we're all just attached at the hip for life. It's just never going to be, okay, we're moving on. Like it's everybody associates. There is something about that Opie and Anthony show that it is an infection. Maybe the virus was the greatest terminology ever phrased because it is never going to go away. The thing that links everybody associated with that experience is never going to go away.
100%. It doesn't bother me because, again, I came in, they were already Opie and Anthony. I already have my own stand-up.
Yeah.
So I had something that separated me a little bit. Like, you have your own existence outside of radio, even though radio did so much for me. But yeah, Opie and Anthony were already there. So for those guys, it might be a little harder just because they were a team, which is like what made them, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, as a stand-up, at least you have a solo thing you can do every night and you can kind of get away. But the problem was, look, as far as Ope, Ant, or myself is concerned, I love doing this show with you. I truly do. Mm-hmm. The Opie and Anthony show is the funniest show that any of us will ever be associated with.
Well, I mean, it's radio history, right?
It's that show when it was clicking on all cylinders and Patrice was coming in and fucking Otto and all these guys and fucking Bill Burr. It's the funniest show any of us will ever do because the combination was just there. The staff was amazing.
I mean, you could literally argue that it's the funniest show in the history of radio. In terms of funny?
As far as laughs are concerned, look, I don't want to say it because but it was a funny fucking show.
Right.
Ope was great at what he did, and Ant and I defended him all the time. People would badmouth him. But we know you don't understand. For years, we stuck up for this guy.
But it was also not one person, right? It was all the elements associated with that is what made it that.
The problem with Opie and why people got mad at him is, as a straight guy, and as a great straight guy, he began to watch two other people playing in the sandbox, and he felt left out. And then he got resentful of his role. And he became resentful because he felt like he didn't have a place. And then he started to get resentful, and that would come out. It was almost like on the Letterman show when Ant talked more, and they had such a great appearance. It was so good for those guys. Ope was great, Ant was great. And, you know, Ope's a straight guy, Ant talked more. And then people goofed on that. And I remember Ant made fun of him for it, like just joking. And then Opie goes, dude, you make fun of me for that. I don't like the comics attack each other relentlessly, but don't make fun of me for that. Like, come on, man. Like, you're resenting that role that you have. Who cares?
That's how I feel when you and Travis start laughing about Schnatter's pies. I feel like these two guys, I want to be included too.
We love a good Schnatter's pie.
I know.
Reference.
I feel like you two and your Schnatter's pies, and you just don't forget about old Sam. Old Sam. There's no slice of Schnatter's left for old Sam.
There's always a hot slice of Schnatter's pie for you, Sam.
I really appreciate you
piping hot.
Yeah, but
you like a piping hot
Yeah,
Schnatter's
it can't
pie?
be cold. Some pizza you can eat cold.
Schnatter's pie has got to be hot. Well, the phones are very, very lit up. You know,
people love it.
People do. But and look, what do you want me to do? If you're gonna on Twitter, I'll make fun of you. I enjoy making fun of people. Like, why don't you go off on him? For a long time, I didn't. For 9 months, I didn't. Because I have a lot of built-up resentment. It happens when a guy is your boss. Mm-hmm. And why did I come? Of course, it's for the money. It's my job.
What are you doing, gigolo?
Oh, no, that's what I pay to take it.
Oh.
But I didn't for 9 months because he didn't have a gig. And it was almost like, I don't want to bash the guy when he's not on radio. Like, I really didn't. And he has no platform other than Twitter.
Right.
So if he wants to unload, feel free, man. Feel free. I'll engage in that all day, every day. If you want to just do your show, do your show. Yeah. But if you fucking open your mouth about me, I'm gonna respond, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't feel necessarily hateful. It's more fun to goof on him. But I'm not afraid to bash him. It's just, I'm gonna do a 10-minute rant on you fucking piece of shit. Come on. It's more fun to fucking make fun of him and holy S. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have zero.
Anthony. Anthony is such a funny motherfucker.
I have zero ill will in general. Like,
I wouldn't say I have zero ill will. I have a good amount of it.
Well, I think at the end of the day, this is like, I'm on the periphery of this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is something that's a little bit more deep-seated between the three of you.
The two of us and him. Not the three of us.
Right.
Two of us
and
him.
It's yeah. No, and that's natural, right?
I don't know if it is or how much of it is natural. I don't know. I just, in a triangulation like that, it shouldn't have been.
No.
It really shouldn't have been because, it was working.
Yeah, I do wish at some point the three of you would just sit down.
Never happen.
I know.
It will never happen.
It's like you guys are, it's just such a weird thing because you're all adults. You should be able, just the three of you, to sit down, have a singular conversation, and then everybody move on. But it's just not going to happen. It's the craziest thing in the world. It could just, the whole thing could be done, and everybody could just have some peace in their lives. Not that, you don't have peace in your life, but I think
know what you're saying. Yeah.
It could. And I'm sure that in your life, you have had issues with other people that a conversation has fixed.
Of course.
There could be a 3-person sit down conversation where we have this conversation and it's over, but for various reasons, it's just never going to happen.
Because
it's
we
the
don't
goddamn Batman and Joker.
I'll tell you what it is. We don't like each other.
Oh.
Ant doesn't like him. He doesn't like Ant. I don't like him. He doesn't like me.
Oh.
Ant and I are friends. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But again, it's not a hatred where I fucking hope he fucking. It's not like that. But there's nothing to say. What are we going to say if we sit down? You know what I mean? Like, what is there to fucking talk about? The show was a hugely successful show. I've thanked him. I couldn't be any more grateful. But I'm just going to say, if you only understood how the comedians really felt, I'm only going to say that.
I mean, I could get from that.
I don't mean you, Sam. I mean him. If you only understood.
I bet he could guess, though. It's not a positive.
And he'll probably say about me, hear what they say about you. Yeah, I'm sure.
By the way, you've probably heard what they say about you.
They've said it to me. I'm friends with all of them. We're funny together.
Right.
They don't look and go, Jesus, what the fuck was it getting cut off? Like, When you start to resent your role.
I mean, even the Mark Norman came in here and he told you all the young comics think that you hate them because you're such a fucking social weirdo.
Yeah, but it was like I was surprised to hear that because I love those guys. I think he's hilarious. Joe List is hilarious. I am socially awkward. I think people don't like me or I'm annoying them.
Well, that's partly true as well.
It certainly is. Yeah. But I mean, I'm a weird dude. Like but it's not out of dislike. It's and maybe that's what his problem is. You know what? Maybe that's Ant's problem. We all have our fucking deep-seated insecurities.
Oh yeah.
But I know I was difficult at times, dude. Like he said something like nobody gave a shit about what I said. It's like, man, if you're on the radio and you're looking across at me and I'm sitting there and he could tell I couldn't stand him. So yeah, I was certainly a contributor to the toxicity, especially when it was just me and him. But I was a contributor. Me and Ant contributed by fucking hating him together. So I get it. I mean, I'm not innocent of it and I'm not completely blameless. I just look at my interactions with you guys and with comedians in general. And if there's an issue we have or whatever, we just kind of talk it out and that's it.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. I don't have any resentment against any of you guys.
No, I don't either. I mean,
yeah, I don't think there's any worry, at least on my end, of bringing something to you that's a concern or a criticism.
Sure.
Well, because we're for the first time, I think everybody here is in a position where we would just tell each other if there was something like that. You know, if there's any sort of thing, I feel weird about this, I want to do this, I want to do that. Everybody, hosts and staff included, would just talk to each other, tell each other.
Go to Matt in Arkansas, please.
Yes, sir. Matt in Arkansas, do you have a contribution?
Hello, Matt.
Yeah, I believe one of the things Anthony found funnier than Opie's podcast was a train ride to Auschwitz.
Oh, God. Such a tragedy.
It said Ashwood, by the way, on the fucking screen.
Well, maybe the phone screen doesn't know history as well, but yeah.
Ashwood, yes. The Jews were sent to Ashwood. I actually thought Ashwood was a place on Long Island. I had no idea that was Ashwood. And it's funny, man.
Well, yeah, so that's that, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. But again, I had to because people hit me up on Twitter, and it's just, Voss isn't funny. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
It's not that
Voss
difficult.
is not hard to do radio with. Voss is hard to do radio with when you're an insecure control freak. Rich Voss has a better sense of humor about himself than any comedian I've ever met. He can take a joke about anything. You can hit Voss as hard as you want about anything.
Dude, Voss knew me when I was an intern. The fact that I can fire shots at him and he's not looking at me insecure shows you, especially because he could hit back. I mean, you've seen him when he gets upset. When he gets upset, he's a machine.
He is a machine.
The fact that he kind of allows me to fire shots at him and will take it in good humor because he understands what's going on in the room.
Yeah.
Kind of says all you need to know. Also, all you have to do is try to get him to take his shirt off, and it's a good show.
It's
to
just
me,
enjoyable. Yeah, he said not even ironically funny.
Who did?
Who? The autistic. Not even ironically funny.
Well, I guess we'll agree to disagree on that. Yeah. I think when Voss takes his shirt off, it's funny.
I enjoy it a lot.
And, you could not. Humor is subjective.
But if you really want to get into discussing who's funny and what's funny, we can go over shit for the next week. We can go over shit that was said that was funny and that wasn't funny.
I actually really enjoy
when bombs and flubs would come up. Remember bombs and flubs? We couldn't have too many for the same person or he'd get upset.
Yeah. Whose bit? Travis, was that your bit?
Yeah, I put those together.
Remember, you'd have to have too many.
Yep.
You couldn't have too many for one person.
Yep.
Why not? What would be the problem? You get upset.
Yep.
Yeah. Did me and Rant get upset?
Never.
Did I ever get upset when you made fun of me on the radio?
Never.
Nope. Why do you think that is? Why do you think me and Anthony, who are polar opposites in many ways, especially in our lifestyle, why do you think we were so close? I live next door to Opie. I would see him. He's a fun guy socially. I enjoy going to dinner with. Opie could be a very fun dude. There's times where I have a love-hate thing with him because there's times when you go out and he's relaxed, when he's comfortable. I love that guy. I truly love that guy. When he's not insecure or feeling threatened, he's a fun dude. He's a relaxed guy. He's a charming guy to be around. That's a guy I genuinely loved.
But maybe a drunk and a dry drunk have more in common than you think.
Maybe, man. I don't know. But we didn't have friction off air or on.
You and Anthony, you mean?
None.
Right.
And it's not fake. We didn't fake it.
Pardon my stupidity, but what's a dry drunk?
A dry drunk is a guy who doesn't drink but is a cunt.
Like he still has the like the symptoms of an alcoholic, the way he treats people, the way he acts.
Yeah, like he's miserable. And a lot of times it comes from not doing like, hey, look, I don't know how it works for anybody else. When I'm doing 12-step shit, I feel better. I'm a better person. When I'm not, I'm a fucking cranky piece of shit. I'm resentful. My attitude stinks. And I was like that a lot. So yeah, I heard that. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. I certainly was. What the fuck am I gonna do? Argue?
There's also the environment, though. I mean, I can't say that since we've been doing the show that I've ever thought that about you.
Not here, no. But the old environment wasn't conducive to sobriety. Whatever issue you had, whether it was rage or alcohol or whatever it was. No, I wouldn't say it was the most constructive.
But that's true. But still, my being a prick at times or my being a cunt a lot in the morning was absolutely my fault. I can't blame anybody for that. Like, I could have been much more relaxed about it, much less resentful, and just come in and enjoyed it. Or I could have talked to him more. I could have said, look, dude, I didn't do that. So 100%, I was fucking cunty a lot.
There were. Let's not paint this picture where like the whole show came in and it was like either Opie's in a good mood or Opie's in a bad mood. Anybody that was working behind the scenes will tell you there were days when Opie was in a bad mood. There were days when Anthony was in an Anthony mood. There were days when Jim was in a Jim mood.
Yes, but it was 80-10-10 as far as the effect on the staff.
And there was the difference would be. Yeah, that it would happen less. You wouldn't have... I mean, when you would get in your moods, it would be difficult.
100%.
But you would also kind of eventually acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? And it would be a little bit easier to get past, and you would get out of that, right? It wouldn't be this sort of defensive-ness that would come from you. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and maybe it's because I'm comfortable as far as being funny is concerned. Like, I'm not comfortable with a lot. I'm insecure in many ways. But as far as being funny on the radio, especially in that environment, I'm comfortable and I'm confident and I feel okay about myself. So that's one thing that makes me, all right, at least I can relax when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't have a resentment against other funny people. Like, I never watched guys being hilarious around me and felt, even when I wasn't being funny, I never felt resentful of them doing something I couldn't do. It's like watching a bunch of people play musical instruments and then you take cymbals and start banging them together.
Like one of those wind-up monkey toys?
Yeah, because you want to make some noise and you resent that there's music being played and you're not as good on your instrument. So instead of conducting...
If the conductor takes out a guitar from under his... He's like, I can play guitar too. And they're like, well, no, he's conducting now.
It would be like the conductor taking that little stick that he waves and just running over and banging it on other instruments. Not even playing guitar. Because if the conductor's playing guitar, hey, at least the conductor's playing guitar, you enjoy it with him. But he's not playing guitar. He's taking his stick and he's hitting it on the other instruments because he's resentful of the sound coming out of them.
Yeah. All right, well, we've done we've done his commercial, right?
Fair enough. And I would say I would encourage, go listen to the show.
Yes,
I never said the show stinks. The audio quality needs something to be desired. But catch the big Mike Bichetti interview.
Do whatever you want. Yeah, listen to the podcast, though.
Go enjoy it.
There's a reason. Yeah, whatever. Go listen to the podcast. He's a good broadcaster. You know.
Well,
I mean, that's why I was going to say he's a good broadcaster. There's a reason he's been doing this long, but I didn't want to open floodgates for you to.
Look, the bottom line is the guy changed my life. I don't hate him. But what do you want me to do? I don't want to talk about him all day. I don't care. We're going to do show prep. Hey, bring me a craft beer. Yeah, woo. That's hard work. Good job.
Oh, man.
All right, what's your show prep? You got an outlet? You got to plug this in. You got an outlet?
Yeah. All right. Well,
hey, what do? You're just a person drinking here.
Where did you learn your trade, you stupid fucking cunt, you idiot?
Somebody texted me, what did Kenny do to Opie? Nothing.
I have no idea.
Nothing. What did he do to him? He worked for him and did everything for him. Kenny can be crazy sometimes because Kenny's very
God.
But Kenny, about another guy I'm still very close. I love Kenny. Kenny and I spent... Would Kenny and I ever get on each other's nerves? Of course we would. We were together all day and then on the road together. We're like a married couple.
Dude, Kenny went through 6 months where he didn't speak to me because we got in a fight on the air once.
Kenny can be...
But Kenny harbors a resentment.
He can.
6 months...
I didn't speak to him for 2 years. because we had a disagreement, not even an argument, a misunderstanding at one of our Hard Rock events, and it took 2 years to get over that.
But once your time was served,
I love Kenny.
All good. Once you put in your time served, literally, Kenny, Troy, and myself were on a group text this weekend, fucking with each other.
Yeah.
I love Kenny. I miss seeing him. I wish he would come around more.
I do too. I would love to have Kenny come back in. I was texting with him this weekend. I miss him a lot too.
And I hated being on his bad side. That sucked.
Yeah. It was tough to serve your time.
Yeah.
It is.
Because you knew you were serving your time, and it's like you wanted to have a strong face about it, but you felt it.
But Kenny's also a guy though. You can have a discussion with him. You could talk to Kenny and go, look, man, and he would air it out with you. He really would. Kenny would never shy, because Kenny wasn't an emotional coward. Kenny would sit there and talk. Kenny wasn't the type to just sulk and brood like a bitch. Kenny would talk it out with you if you wanted to. That was another guy who cannot stand him, is Kenny. Can't stand him. And for years couldn't stand him.
When I saw Opie on the subway and we were both walking back to this office, I beat him, and I saw Kenny downstairs waiting for Opie.
How badly?
By 5 minutes, at least.
Oh, I thought you meant with lashings.
No.
You said it.
Well, I mean, it's figure speech.
Oh, I see.
And I told Kenny what had just happened. I said, yeah, he didn't talk to me. So welcome to the club.
Now let's just, before we wrap this up, let's address Steve in New Jersey, because you're incorrect, Steve.
Okay. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Steve?
Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy.
So, Opie's no dummy, right? I mean,
hold on, wrong. He's what? He's a monumental dummy.
But hear me
He's
out.
a smart broadcaster.
I hear you.
Yeah. Hear me out.
Yes.
So, he's clinging to life, right? He's clutching and grabbing for anything to have notoriety. His career is basically over. So he's got you guys with a great platform and Anthony with a great platform talking about him for 45 minutes,
It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something.
We know.
I know what you're saying, dude, and I know that line of thinking. And if Opie thinks that me and Anthony making fun of him is going to help him, more power to him. You know, I know what you're saying, but I'm not afraid to talk about somebody. And then they'll go, "Why are you talking about?" Like, you know, I know I've watched that bullshit and that pretend I don't worship Howard shit for 15 years. So I know that it's not like that whole he's talking about me to do show prep. No, you say something and we'll talk about you for 20 minutes and make fun of you. I'll make fun of him all day. And if you think that's going to help you to have me and Anthony making fun of you, God bless you.
You're right, though, Steve. I appreciate the call, bud. Like, I think Jim and I are both aware that this is a commercial and this is an intentional thing. This is.
I don't know if it's intentional or not. Because
it is. I mean, I can. The timing of the. Trust me when I tell you.
Do you think that he wants to be bad-mouthed?
He wants to be mouthed. He's an old school radio guy. He's very smart.
No, I disagree.
I
believe
very smart.
He's not very smart.
He's very smart when it comes to building publicity, building press. It's something he did really, really well. When Opie and Anthony was on, you know, in terms of getting a buzz about the show at the expense of whatever. I mean, he's always been really good at building a buzz around the show. And I think that's what he's doing now. And he knows that, you know, a wave of negative may come, but with that wave of negative, some positive will trickle in. People will become aware of what he's doing.
Become aware of it. I don't look at it like, I'm not going to talk about him because it might be what he wants. I don't care if it's what he wants. I don't mind if it's what he wants. I'm okay with it. And if you think being spoken about like this is a great commercial, then I'm sorry for you. If you think that's a great commercial.
My opinion, more and more too, is that like at the real base of all this, the reason why the show, the elements of the show continue to be clung together. The reason why this sort of conversation in this universe, the O&A universe, as it were, is something that just won't die is because, you know, it's a classic show. And the reason it's a classic is because everybody involved in that show happens to be very, very, very good at all this. Everybody involved. Yeah. And that's why it keeps, you know, Opie is good at what Opie does. I'm good at what I do. You're good at what you do.
I'm tired of praising. I'm tired of fucking praising Opie. You know, like the bottom line is I've said enough things about him that were nice. Mm-hmm. in life, and it's just like enough, fucking enough.
I think
don't make fun of me for that.
This is my attempt.
You want to unload on me, stupid? Feel free.
This is my attempt at a transit.
You want to be? No, I know. But you want to be the psycho. Please do it. You want to go? Yup.